The United States government once needed a loan, not from another country, not from a bank, from one man. He said yes, and for the next 20 years, that one yes meant he owned more of America than anyone alive, without holding a single public office, winning a single election, or breaking a single law. His name was J.P. Morgan, and this is how you buy a country without buying a country. Picture New York, 1895. The factories are running, the railroads are moving. On the surface, America looks like the most unstoppable economic machine the world has ever seen. Underneath, the United States Treasury is almost empty. Gold is draining out of reserves faster than anyone can stop it. Investors are panicking. The most powerful government on earth is quietly, desperately running out of time. Cleveland needs money. He doesn't call Europe. He doesn't call Congress. He calls one private citizen on Wall Street. Morgan picks up. And in that single moment, something shifts in America that never fully shifts back. To understand Morgan, you have to understand what America was in the 1880s. No Federal Reserve, no government backstop. When banks failed, and they failed constantly, there was no safety net. The entire financial system ran on trust, and trust is a very fragile thing to build an economy on. Into this chaos walked Morgan, and he understood something almost nobody else did. Chaos is not the enemy of power. Chaos is the raw material of power. If you can walk into a burning room and stay calm, you don't just survive the fire. You end up owning everything the fire touched. His first move was railroads. After the Civil War, competing rail lines were destroying each other, slashing prices so aggressively that profitable routes were hemorrhaging cash. Not because they had no customers, because they refused to stop fighting each other. Morgan moved in, bought failing debt at a discount, restructured, installed his own people on the boards, then called every competing executive into a room, his room, and explained calmly that the price wars were over. He called it community of interest. The railroads called it salvation. Farmers called it something unprintable. Because once Morgan controlled the rails, he controlled the rates. And the rates went up and stayed up. Then came steel. In 1901, Morgan bought out Carnegie for $480 million. Carnegie walked away thinking he sold too cheap. Morgan barely blinked. Within weeks, he created U.S. Steel, the first corporation in American history valued at over $1 billion. He didn't build a single factory, didn't lay a single rail. He assembled, reorganized, took position, collected. Find the thing everyone needs, find the chaos around it, offer order, extract a permanent toll, repeat. So, when Cleveland called, Morgan flew to Washington, sat across from the president, listened, then negotiated. He arranged a private bond syndicate that injected $62 million in gold into Federal Reserves and stopped the collapse. He saved the country. He charged interest. The elected government of the United States, sitting across a desk from one unelected, unaccountable private citizen, asking for help. He helped. But he helped the way a man helps when he knows you have absolutely no other option. Then came 1907, and this time, it wasn't just the Treasury. It was everything. Banking panic across America, depositors storming banks, institutions collapsing in real time, stock market down 50% in weeks. No Federal Reserve, no plan, nothing. There was only Morgan, 70 years old. He put down his cards, called every major banker in New York to his private library, told them what was happening. Everyone contributes. Nobody leaves until it is agreed. Then he walked to his study and locked the door. The bankers sat through the night. Some tried to leave. The door was locked. Morgan had the key. By morning they had signed. The panic stopped. One man, one locked room, no vote, no law, no democratic process of any kind. And it worked. Faster than anything the government could have organized, which is the most uncomfortable sentence in this entire story. Congress investigated. The Pujo Committee. 1912. They found Morgan and his allies controlled resources worth $22 billion. $700 billion today, Morgan testified. 75, visibly ill, still the most intimidating man in the room. The lawyer asked, Do you extend credit based on money and property? Morgan said no. Based on what then? Character, he said. Character above everything. Because at a certain altitude, numbers are just the entry fee. The real currency is trust. Knowing which men hold when everything is falling and which men run. He died in 1913, $80 million estate. Rockefeller heard the number and said, and to think he wasn't even a rich man. He meant it as an insult. He missed the point entirely. Morgan was never trying to be the richest man in America. He was trying to own the room where richness gets decided. The Federal Reserve was created the same year Morgan died, built so no private individual could ever again hold that kind of power. The most honest admission Congress ever made, that for 2 decades the American economy had run on one man's willingness to act, one man's willingness to profit. They built an entire institution to replace him. Today we have banks explicitly too big to fail, asset managers controlling $50 trillion, institutions so embedded that their collapse would not be a market event. It would be civilizational. We replaced Morgan with a system, then built new Morgans inside the system. Different names, different offices, same locked door. In 1907, Morgan had the key because he was the only man with the credibility and leverage to stop everything from burning. The next time something burns, and something always burns, ask yourself one question. Who has the key now? And whether anyone asked you before handing it over.